Okay, so this is a video covering the main gun, creation of the main gun for the Panther. So you've got your little template piece here. You don't have to cut that out or anything like that. You're just using it as a guide. And a nice straight piece of bamboo skewer. You want to sand down the end that's going to be the front of the gun before doing anything else, really. Nice and flat. Okay, and then take a pencil and just mark everywhere there's a size change. Now past here, this part's buried, so you just need to kind of mark generally where it goes into the gun. So this is actually the last mark we're going to use for anything. And I just want to extend those around the whole circumference. So I'm just going to lengthen the marks I just made. And the other side as well. And then you should be able to see where they connect. There we go. Now I'm going to take a nice sharp utility knife and just score each of those lines pretty deep. You don't want to weaken the skewer too much, but you do want these to be fairly deep so that you don't end up flaking off the wrong parts. And one more here. Okay, and so now this part here, this large part, is where I'm going to start, and it is tapered toward the end of the gun. So you want to do most of your carving down here. It's hard to see on the template that it's very tapered, but it is tapered somewhat. So you can't see me doing this, but every time I take a strip off the bamboo, I spin it a little and hit the next area end line. So I don't want to do all my carving on one side. I want to keep it nice and rounded. And just be really careful when you get to the end there, where the size change happens, that you don't, because it's easy if you push too hard to flick that off. So just be really careful once you get towards the end of the gun here. And sometimes you'll find that the bamboo skewer is harder on one end, or one side is like a heartwood, which would be very soft. And the other side is the edge, which will be harder. And so you may have to carve a little bit more on one end than another to get it even. Now you don't have to get it perfectly rounded, although the rounder you can get it, the better. We're going to, in the end, we're going to use a bit of sandpaper to complete that process. Now before I start getting too close to the size I want to achieve, I'm going to start to back cut toward here. If you wait too late, then you end up going too deep with the back cuts and you won't maintain your taper the whole way. But it's easier to start out on that side. like that. Just don't cut too much in that direction, or else you cut too deeply. You get under the grain, and you can't choose how much skewer you're taking off anymore. So mostly forward carving. And again, constantly spinning it to keep the sides even. Now I would judge that the template guide is merely a guide. If you observe the various size differences between the guns of the available models, you'd find there's a lot of variation there. I'm sure there wasn't historic variation, but we're just trying to achieve something that looks right to you. So use this template as a guide, but a guide only, really. So once you start getting towards where you're happy, and again, not trying to do this perfect, we're going to fix this all with sandpaper at the end. Just trying to get our basic shapes here done. Really careful when I'm getting towards the tip of the gun there, not to flake the next layer off. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that shape, and now I'm going to cut sort of very hard taper this. So it's coming back to basically meet up with the same shape and level as the gun, but it's a total bell shape. So it's like all the taper of the main gun is in this tiny little piece and going the opposite direction. Okay, and with the tip, we're just going to sort of do the same motion. We're going to even it out later. It's just a lot easier to not take off too much or go too deep and flake off your bell shape if you kind of taper it in. But this part is not actually supposed to be tapered. So once we've got a basic shape, we're just going to forward cut those tapers to level. And we're going to check the front and make sure it looks round. It looks pretty round. And you can see I left the gun on the skewer the whole time I've been carving it. There's a good reason for that. It's a lot easier if you have got something to hold on to. So I would definitely recommend leaving some extra wood on the insertion end there. Okay. Now for the finishing touch, it's got that nicely rounded. Take a little square of really fine sandpaper. Now, if you've got a lot of sanding to do, moving it this way is the effective way to take down ridges, and if one side's slightly, you could see that it needs to be rounded more, this is the way to do that. But the way to round it the nicest, in my opinion, is to sort of wrap the sandpaper around the gun and spin it, and this will create a nice smooth bore gun sort of effect, and hopefully bring you to a circular shape at the same time. Although it does take a long time to remove much material this way. So if you see that, oh no, I've got to actually take down a ridge here or something like that, definitely using this method is a lot quicker. And you can also spin the barrel under it while doing this, which has some of the same effects, but it's not quite as good. And very carefully sort of sand your bell shape a bit. Careful not to strip off any of it. And then you can kind of make a fold and jam it to the ridge there to do this last bit of sanding. And if you've got a 1/16 bit, hopefully you do, you just put that right in the middle, and we're just going to create a very small but detectable concave area right in the end of the gun. Try to be very careful not to let it go too close to any of the edges. Be as centered as possible. Take your time. But this really helps when you're painting. Just fill that with a little black paint, and it goes, it looks really nice. A lot nicer than just a flat surface. So once you've found your mark, all you need to do is just the impression of a concave area, and it works wonders. There we go. That should be actually almost enough. This is a pretty hard bit of bamboo skewer. Often they're a bit softer than this. But there we go. And now we'll just cut this back here. And I like to use pliers to break this last one, just because it's fairly delicate here. And so you can definitely apply the pressure in the right area if you break that last one with pliers. You don't have to worry about squashing this. This is all buried inside the tank anyways. And there you have your gun.